Hey guys, well, we got Kim Winter here all the way from Dubai, and is he excited? My goodness, he's excited. What for? Well, he went to watch a game of cricket last night. And what was the outcome? Well, I'm going to leave it to him to tell us because he's the Kiwi sitting in Dubai, and he's the man on the spot. Over to you, Kim.
Hey, kia ora, Max, and kia ora, everyone, and commiserations to everybody back in the land of the long dark cloud, or long dark shroud at the moment, that's for sure. But yes, look, I was at the cricket last night, the World Cup final for the T20, and I'll tell you what, Max, I'm inspired by Vaughan Winiata, and he's had a bit of a rant in the last couple of days on COVID and matters of leadership in New Zealand. And it just occurred to me there's some very obvious examples of what we should be doing as a nation in my beloved New Zealand that I reckon we're not doing. But let me first draw back to the national pain that we're all suffering. Of course, as blue-blooded Kiwis, we've been very well beaten by our two top world #1 teams in the world. The All Blacks, of course, well and soundly beaten by the Irish. I think any armchair critic in New Zealand would say we were beaten from the kickoff all the way around by the Irish. And then, of course, and probably should have had 30 points put on us. And then, of course, there was the Black Caps last night. Well, I've got to say, look, Kane Williamson, probably the next New Zealand Prime Minister, I would think, for his exploits. But the team again, well beaten right from the get-go. As soon as they were on the field, slow batting, and then restricted by the Australian bowling, and it was all one-way traffic, unfortunately. But look,
well, Kim, we can't keep winning all the time. This is New Zealand giving the rest of the world a bit of a glimpse in. We do it to the Aussies now and again. We let them have a look in just to make them feel important again.
But here's my thing, right? My key words for today, and I have a bit of a rant, as I told you at the top of the show, lack of leadership and a lack of innovation. Now, in leadership and innovation, you've got to acknowledge, Max, are two things that have pretty much typified us as a small nation right at the end of the world. Agreed?
Oh, totally. And particularly now when we've got a crisis on in our little country, we've got the COVID going rapid around here.
Yeah, so look, I can tell you, everybody would say the Ireland game, we were beaten in our own game very early. They held the ball. They attacked us, and they just put pressure on. 170 tackles to 35 tackles or whatever, unheard of, world record. And what they did is held on to the ball. We didn't adapt. I don't know who was the captain, but during the All Black game, I particularly didn't notice that. But I can tell you, Kane Williamson was the captain, played like a captain in the cricket, but unfortunately others weren't following. The lessons from the rugby was adapt, show leadership, get innovative, and respond in the second half. We didn't do that. The cricket, we went out there, they beat us at our own game. We were disadvantaged by the toss. We had to bat first, and we should have got a score of 190 to 200. We had the ability to do it. We had 6 players still in the pavilion. But anyway, we digress. Let me I want to draw on the analogy of what's going on in New Zealand at the moment, because, all jokes and everything else aside, it's time for New Zealand to now start to show leadership for business and for the economy. Because quite frankly, whilst there are plenty of lessons around the place for the sporting teams to be able to pick up and adapt and show leadership and be innovative, which we didn't do, and that's why we were well beaten, and credit to the people that beat us. But what we're doing inside in New Zealand at the moment is we're not looking at the lessons around the world. We don't have to be innovative. We don't have to show leadership as a government in New Zealand. We just have to look at the 100-odd countries that are managing with COVID. They're moving forward. They've got the economies open. If you take Dubai, for example, they've the T20 World Cup. They've got Expo 2020. They've got the Dubai Air Show, which started yesterday, and I'll be down there tomorrow. 142 countries. Here, hotels have been full now for several months, 95% occupancy rate, average of $300 a night normal here in the city, now up to $600 a night, and for the foreseeable future for the rest of the next 6 to 12 months.
You're drifting off. We were talking sport a few minutes ago.
Mate, I'll tell you what, in the government here as New Zealand, I've seen a couple of the rants lately on your show and others, And New Zealand small business just can't sit around any longer. We've got to be innovative. The government's got to take a not necessarily a risk, but an aggressive stance. The rules are there. PCP when people leave their country, get on a plane. PCP when they get off home for a day or 2 days to make sure the PCP is clear, which is now about 2 to 3 hours, and then get people into the country. New Zealand, known as the friendliest country in the world. Clean, green, open spaces. The world wants to come to New Zealand. We can, and let's get on the front foot. We can enliven the New Zealand economy right now, move ahead, get everybody flowing to that country, work with controlling COVID, and get the small businesses back on track again, get tourism.
You're not wrong, Kim, because what we've got is we've got a prime minister that entered into the government saying that you've got to be kind. And being kind, well, look what our All Blacks did being kind. Look what our cricket team did being kind. Being very kind to the other side and let them win. So, I mean, there is a time for aggression. There's time to be respectful. But to be kind, well, I think you're just giving it away. And currently right now, Kim, I have to concur. A lot of businesses are going under, they're suffering, and it's because we got a lack of ability to make sure, fortitude to make some hard decisions. Right now, New Zealand should be wide open. We should be taking examples from where you're living right now, Kim, in Dubai, where you guys have got it wide open, and you've actually, got a high rate of vaccination, which we're nearly there. We're right up there right now. There's no reason why we can't be wide open, but no, let's be kind.
But with the high level of vaccinations, not only the UAE, which are world leaders, Israel at the other end of the Gulf, world leaders in this area, high level of vaccinations. Okay, New Zealand, we forgot to get vaccinated for a year. We were the #1 in the world in New Zealand in terms of lockdown. Great. Mistakes were made. It's like the sporting teams. Mistakes are made. Guys, pick up, dust yourselves off, move forward. And this is what New Zealand has got to do now. We've got to be seen to be the innovative, open, friendly country, welcoming people, tourism. It's happening all over the world. We're getting left behind, Max. Trust me, the hospitality sector here has never, ever had the occupancy rates that it's got now.
What do you think, folks? We should rebrand Kim as Kim the coach. He's just given us a real energetic, he's very excited, I've got to say, on how we should run the country too and how we run our sports teams. Kim, we thank you for that. There's passion there. And you should be back here in New Zealand because we need more of you.
Mate, I want to come back and visit my family. As I said last week, I've been busting my ass to get back there. And I'll tell you what, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who want to come to New Zealand. They miss New Zealand. They've been there before. They've heard we're at the ends of the earth. We're the safest, cleanest, greenest place in the world. Open up, guys. Let's get back on the front foot.
All right. Just on a final note for that, Kim, to help you, there's 30,000 New Zealanders want to get back to New Zealand and they're blocked. They're not allowed there.
Some of them here. I've met some of them here. What are we doing? This is human rights. Open the borders, guys. PCP on and off the plane. Get cracking. Maximum and mandate vaccinations. Get on with it.
Well, listen to that. Okay, Kim, we'll see you next week. Thanks for the passion and the invigoration. And Kim, the coach, will be back next week. See you soon, Kim.